Oh, good afternoon. Good afternoon and welcome to another Webinar Wednesday hosted by Cal State Bakersfield Small Business Development Center. Good afternoon. I'm Kelly Bearden. I'm your host for today, and you're here live for webinar 353. We have a great program talking about a great County of Kern program, and we will get right to that. So we are here because of our gracious sponsors, and we are powered by SBA. Also, the California Office of the Small Business Advocate. We are part of the Blue Tech Valley program, a clean energy technology program throughout the Central Valley. We are part of the College of Business and Public Administration, and also SynCal Business Finance Group, along with, of course, our program today, the County of Kern, Kern County, California. Thank you all so much for allowing us to be here today on August the 6th, 2025. So August the 6th, happens to be my sister's birthday, and it's a milestone birthday. So I got to send out some birthday greetings to my sister Jackie, celebrating a milestone. Love you, big sis. Glad you're older than me, though. So we will move along and also talk a little bit about what we're going to be discussing today. So Kern Biz is accepting applications now. We will get into all the eligibility and the program information will be here live today. Also, our capital quarter, our regular feature on accessing capital for small businesses. We'll talk about getting the most if you get a Kern Biz grant or another grant, on how maybe you can leverage those funds and get even additional funding. So we'll talk a little bit about that before we get to our program. We do have our economic corner, which recaps a lot of the current economic news, and we'll be getting into that. Our news, information, and resources will cover some of the creative and alternative financial solutions that are out there. So maybe if this program doesn't work, or maybe if it does work, what other resources that are kind of creative and alternative solutions out there to help you fund your business. As always, we will take questions, and so please go to the Q&A box live after today's presentation. I'll be happy to read those questions to you. Our resources are in the chat. Our webinar producer, Maureen, is at hand, and she will be adding to the chat today. As I like to say, feeding the monster, the chat monster, and a poll. So let's start with a poll today. So a little bit of an easier poll, I hope, than some of them. So our first question is just one, since, I'm an optimistic guy and I really kind of like this optimistic footing that we're on. So let's talk about, what you're optimistic about for the rest of 2025. Is it greater sales and profitability? Is it improved cash flow? Are you looking at more opportunities and expanding? Is it resilience and survival? Or if you have another thing that you're optimistic about, please go to the chat and put it in there. And at some point in time today, we will go through and jump in and grab that. So again, what we're looking at is we're looking at what you're optimistic about. Are you anticipating for the rest of 25 greater sales and profitability? Improved cash flow, more opportunities, expansion, some resilience, and maybe survival, or anything else that you're optimistic about. Appreciate you jumping in here. We do have about 66% of you that have participated so far, so thank you. Kind of give us an idea of where you are with the rest of 2025. So there you see, greater sales, improved cash flow, opportunities, resilience, and other. So just give you a second or two to go ahead and get your answer in. Jump in now if you want. And we're going to go ahead and end the poll, share the results with you. And 50%, yeah, that's what I like to see. 50% of you are looking for more opportunities and expansion, potentially expanding that business, expanding the product line. It could be a lot of different things, but opportunity and expansion, half of you. Also, 28% of you, resilience and survival. Resilience is a good thing. We also have 11% of you that are looking for greater sales and profitability. Always like that response. And then the last are the other and improved cash flow. So thank you so much for doing our first question, which is just what is going on there. And now that we've ended that poll question, I'll stop sharing it and give you the second question. And this is a question I've asked before, and I wasn't happy with the response. So I'm back. And it is, what is the midway point between the two cities of Bakersfield and Fresno? Is it Goshen? Is it Tulare? Is it Tipton? Or is it Pixley? So there you go, 4 fine communities between Bakersfield and Fresno. And we're looking for the midway point. Is it Goshen? Is it Tipton? Is it Pixley? Jump in and feel free to tear this one apart. Okay, our whimsical geographical question of the month on Webinar Wednesday. This is it. And we do have half of you that have already participated, so thank you. Jump in and come on, give us your guess. Stay off the Google. I know it's there. But is it Goshen? Is it Tulare, Tipton, or Pixley? So we'll give you another couple of seconds to jump in. Last chance. And we're going to jump in and end the poll and share the results. And the results, 59% of you, Tulare, you're not correct. I'm sorry. 24% of you, Tipton, you are correct. Tipton it is, midway in between. Now, we've had this question a time or two because we had it during the pandemic when we had, I don't know, literally over 100 people respond to this question and nobody got it right. Nobody had Tipton, so much smarter we're getting since the pandemic. So 24% of you correct, 18% Pixley, and Goshen, yeah, Goshen 0. So thank you for participating in today's poll, and let's move along. So on our capital quarter today, we're going to talk a little bit about the leverage factor. And the leverage factor is essentially taking something that you have, in this case, it would be a particular grant or potentially a grant that you would be getting. And it could be this grant we're talking about today. It could be another one. But in this particular leverage factor, here's how it'll work. Banks oftentimes use what they call the 5 C's of credit. So the 5 C's of credit, which is the criteria needed to confer credit to a client. So they kind of need that criteria to go through. And I know I'm playing a little bit of C on you there, little 5 C's and then 4 C's and 4 more C's. But here are the 5 C's that lenders will look at. And it's not really kind of it is definitely a subjective exercise where lenders are going to look at your character. They're going to look at your condition. Character could be described as your credit history and other issues. Condition is your business and also the industry that you're in. Collaterals are the assets or security. And again, capacity is going to be the cash that you can actually borrow to. The 5th is capital, which is your down payment. So let's say your down payment is a little lacking. By receiving a grant, you're able to take that and actually leverage that as the down payment. So all of a sudden now, even though it's not money you're contributing, it's not money you're paying back. And so this down payment can count as a contribution and actually gives you the opportunity to potentially larger opportunities and actually leverage larger opportunities depending on each individual circumstance. And it could be a smaller amount. It could be maybe the same amount. It can be for the same project. It can be for more improvements in a building or a facade. It can be completely different. So this is an opportunity at the SBDC that we see with the particular program that we're talking about today. So you might be able to leverage a grant through the program and you might be awarded a winning there, but it doesn't have to necessarily stop more there if you feel that you have a need for more funds. If there is more capital that you need, this is the opportunity to look at all the resources. And I strongly encourage you actually reach out to your SBDC advisor and talk with them about how you can leverage more funding. So an example of how that would work is you have a $10,000 grant, but you don't have much cash and you would like more. What you can do is the key here is the capacity is basically you can oftentimes leverage a $10,000 grant into as much as the $50,000 loan or potentially more. It can give you the access to where we're talking now about improving a building or real property. It actually might give you the opportunity to purchase that building or real property. So really every individual situation is going to be different. And this is why it is just kind of something we like to throw out there that, capacity is the key here. You can pay for more improvements, complimentary purchases, or other things from the grant funds. So keep that in mind, the leveraging factor as you go. So as many of you know, we participated in the 2024 Small Business Credit Survey by the Federal Reserve by the Federal Reserve Bank. That would be interesting, huh? If the Federal Reserve was a credit union. So, So with that, these were supplied after we participated, or actually you participated. We're going to be doing this again, and we wanted to share with you a few of the slides that they shared with us. This was based on geographic, and if you look at our slide, ours is the one that shows a larger rural penetration. So there were larger respondents. You see our size of 98 of you out of the national pool of 6,131 participated. And you see that about 10% more were rural, even though obviously with our office in downtown Bakersfield, it is a rather substantial urban setting. So something we're proud of is the rural reach that we got demonstrated by those of you that participated in the Federal Reserve Bank's credit survey. Also, you'll recall that they had a question on race and ethnicity of owners. They described it as non-minority and minority, to whereas nationwide, it's 80% of them responded were non-minorities. We're here 51%. So much more diversity than we see on a national level. So thank you for participating in this. And also gender we thought was important because it also showed that here in our Kern County reporting of 98 businesses that actually took the survey compared to 6131 across the US of A, that we were much more likely to have women-owned businesses here. So thank you so much, and be looking for this survey as we look to participate in this year's survey. If this particular grant program doesn't work out for you, we won't even talk about loans here. We'll give you a list of all the other alternatives and creative ways that we've helped businesses fund. Yes, there are a lot of different ones, including revolving bank funds, to name a few. We had a program a few weeks ago on purchase order financing and invoice and accounts receivable financing. There are ways to use retirement funds. We don't recommend it, but we will help you find the best way to do that. Credit card financing, in many cases these days, is a preferred alternative over a lot of the online sites that are out there that show very high interest rates. So just some of the resources that we could talk about in our economic corner for today. Today, really, and kind of this week has been kind of, again, back to the tariff domination, with India being hit with a 50% tariff. So if you're looking to buy medical products, diamonds, and phones, that is where it's mostly going to affect. Shipments are being rushed out to kind of meet the midnight start tonight. So if they get out of India by midnight, they aren't going to be subject to the tariffs. But a few of the trends that we're seeing and we're hoping to address in next week's webinar will be a lot of the bigger importers are absorbing the tariffs, as we haven't seen a lot of inflation yet. And also the smaller ones can't do that. And we've noticed that with some of our businesses that have been affected and that import and have been significantly impacted by tariffs. We've also seen that whereas, on the Trump side of things, there was been projected a windfall. We haven't seen that yet. And a lot of the other side, we've seen a lot of devastation where we haven't seen that either. So, my solution to that is next week on Webinar Wednesday is to bring back our resident economist and have him talk about it. Dr. Mark Evans will be our guest next week. You'll know him as being an emeritus economics professor with over 40 years experience at CSUB, former economics department chair, associate dean of the College of BPA, and a member of the CSUB Faculty Hall of Fame. And earlier this year, he showed us this great statistic that showed, total small businesses. This is small business pay, and total is for all firms up to 500 employees. But here in Kern County, our sweet spot is small businesses up to 49 employees, as you can see, with very little salary change or payment between, under 49 and over 49. To whereas if you look at the state of California, there is rather significant and dramatic change between the level of pay depending on the size of firm. So maybe he'll come back with some more of that great information. Our free human resource hotline, which is provided by our workforce development boards here locally in Kern, Inyo, and Mono counties. You see our phone number. You can see other ones throughout the Central Valley or the San Joaquin Valley Central Coast, and also the Sierra Mountains. The SBDC has a variety of different tools to help you succeed. A lot of tools there, but I'm running out of time, so I'm not going over the tools today. I will talk about my favorite big, beautiful bill, the $100,000 bill. And just as an act as encouragement, we looked at some of the changes and encourage all small businesses to see how the bill is going to affect them. So with the new law in effect, changing your taxes, your tax situation, and a lot of other things, we're encouraging with the Big Beautiful Bill Act that you actually meet with your advisors, of course, your accountants, financial people, SBA, etc., SBDC, in order to see its impact. Our YouTube channel is where our webinars will go and reside. This webinar will be there if you would like to subscribe. I think our subscribers are now approaching 500, and we will have a prize of some sort for our 500th subscribers. If you'd like to get this webinar on nearly a weekly basis dropped into your email box, subscribe. Again, our sponsors for Webinar Wednesday, thank you to each and every one. We'll single one out today, the County of Kern, California. So thank you for doing that. Contact the SBDC for confidential, no cost, no obligation, and expert consulting. You can also get resources from our website, csubsbdc.com, and actually go there and register for SBDC services. Which brings us to today's special guest. Our first special guest is going to be Jasmine Hernandez, and she's an analyst with the County of Kern, where she supports economic development initiatives focused on small business growth, community revitalization, and strategic investment. And speaking of a strategic investment, she is currently pursuing her MPA. So there you go right there. Also, she has worked with an analyst in the workforce development field, where she led initiatives supporting disadvantaged youth through job creation, career pathways, and grant-funded programs. Experience in grant writing, helped the county with nearly $15 million that has access to educational, training, etc. Jasmine, it's great to have you join us today. Thank you to the County of Kern for having this program available to our county residents, and please take it away.
Thank you, Kelly. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Jasmine Hernandez, and I am with the Economic Development Division as an analyst with the County of Kern. So thank you all for being here today. Happy to highlight this program. So our division has launched the Kern Biz Façade Improvement Grant Program, and this is a targeted initiative designed to promote the revitalization of our commercial corridors in the Kern County's unincorporated communities. So this program is competitive and it provides one-time grants up to $10,000 to eligible small businesses and property owners for activities such as facade enhancements, site security improvements, and site beautification. This effort aligns with the county's strategic goal to encourage investment and also improve business visibility. We have partnered with Project Development Solutions, and here today is Kristin Krafthefer to speak more about the program and technical assistance offered.
Thank you, Jasmine. Let me go ahead and share my screen. So as Jasmine said, we are administering the Kern Biz grant program for the County of Kern. There are program goals just to enhance the looks of the outside of the business locations that are selected for this award. I want to first start with some key upcoming dates. The application opened on July 1st. We have our third and final webinar scheduled for Friday, August 8th at noon. If you can, please join us. I will be providing the link to that information at the end of this presentation, but it will be the last webinar that we have. Applications are due August 15th. And we will be reviewing those applications starting September 1st, and awards will be notified on October 1st. So eligibility. For your location to be eligible, first you must be located in an unincorporated area of Kern County. If you are unable to identify if you are or not in an unincorporated area, feel free to reach out to Project Development Solutions. Our contact information will be available at the end of this presentation, and we can help identify if you meet that eligibility. Second, the distribution point. You must have a physical distribution point within the unincorporated area of Kern County and be in business at that location a minimum of 6 months. The property types that are eligible are commercial, industrial, or mixed-use properties. Please note that residential properties are ineligible for this opportunity. Business structure. It must be a privately owned business, as well as the legal entity type being a sole proprietor, partnership, a corporation, or a LLC. Lastly, the requirement is your taxes. You must have your sales taxes credited to the address in that physical location for you to be eligible for this grant opportunity in the unincorporated area of Kern. So once your location and business are eligible, there are 3 areas of funding. You can apply for one or an area in all 3. However, the max amount of funding is $10,000. You do not have to request $10,000. You can request as low as $1,000 up to $10,000. So don't feel the need to max out that grant request if you're unable to meet that $10,000 requirement. You can ask for $1,000 for your project and it will be equally considered. So within those 3 categories, the first is the external facade. These include exterior painting, signing, windows, exterior walls, accessibility improvements, window shutters, awnings, exterior stairs, lighting, and roofing. The second is site enhancements, outdoor dining or gathering spaces, parking lot reconstruction, landscape. Landscape is not, landscape is funded, but just understand that routine maintenance is not. Shade structures, outdoor furniture, walkways, fencing, development fees, and demolition. The third and final category is our site security improvements. The only category that does have a cap, any improvements that you would like to make in the site security improvement category has a limit up to $5,000. Something also to note within that security improvement, that if you would like to use this grant to replace smashed windows, there must be included a filed police report for us to be able to fund that opportunity. So we just went over the companies that are eligible and then the eligible projects. So how to access the application. How you would access the application is through the Kern County Economic Development Department's homepage. Once you navigate to the homepage, you go to their incentives and Kern Biz Grant Program. So we'll drill down to that now. And then it's Kern Biz Grant Program. This is our homepage for this opportunity. The first half is the program overview. This will give you just a brief overview about the project, as well as the flyer information. Our last webinar, is at 9 to 10 a.m. on August 8th. If you would like to join that meeting, go ahead and click the join via Teams meeting link, and you'll be navigated to join us on Friday. The next section is the application forms. The first is the guidelines and the application. The second is only the application. And the third and final bullet point there is the Kern Biz Grant Eligibility Frequently Asked Questions. That is a live document and it gets updated every time I have a question asked. So if there is a question that you may have about this opportunity, it may have already been asked and answered. So go ahead and check out the frequently asked questions information that's provided. Award notification and timeline. Something to note is that the work cannot start until after your project has been selected. Eligibility, going back over the eligibility that we've already discussed on how your business is legally structured, as well as those distribution points. Number 5 is additional information to help verify your eligibility. If you are unable to have any of these documents submitted, don't let that delay you in submitting an application. Me and my team will be able to assist in acquiring those other documents to support your application. But submit your application. Don't let not being able to provide your lease agreement stop you from applying. Those are all things that we can help assist with securing and make sure that they are ready and able to be presented on time before the due date. The application process, you can submit the applications either electronically to proposals at pdevsolutions.com, in person here at our office at Project Development Solutions, or you can mail that hard copy into us at 1601 Newstein Road, Suite 222, Bakersfield, California, 93309. So this is how you access the application. So from here, I'm going to just go briefly over the application itself. The Kern County Economic Development site, from initiatives to Kern Biz Grant Program, that will navigate to our grant page. And all of the things that I just said that weren't displayed are listed here, including the workshop dates with the link, application forms, eligibility, number 5, where it includes the recommended documents to support your application, as well as the application process on how to submit your application once it's complete. So from here, to access the application, and I'll go over this briefly, is Kern Biz Grant Application. So here's our grant application. In step 1, this will be the business owner information. You and whatever partners are also owners will need to be listed. This is personal information. This is your home address, your personal phone number. These are all outside of your business. This is personal information. The second step would be your business information. So your business information will be your business name, address, tax ID, as well as the date that it was established. Other important things to note on this application is your assessor's parcel numbers. If you are unable or do not know your parcel numbers, that's fine. Go ahead and reach out to us and we'll help you identify those numbers through the Kern County Assessor's Office. How long have you been doing business at this location, again, just a reminder that there is a 6-month minimum that you have been doing business at the location in the unincorporated area of Kern to be eligible to apply. And then it goes into the question segment of the application where you can provide a general description of the business and products that you sell. Whether you are an owner or a tenant, if you are a tenant, you are still eligible to apply, but you also need to have your landlord's or property owner's consent. So if you are a property owner, that step is not required, obviously, but if you are a tenant, just go ahead and select tenant, make sure that your property owner's information is there. And at the bottom of the application, there will be a place to sign, giving you authorization to make these improvements if your grant is selected. Step 3 would be identifying which one of those 3 categories that we spoke of earlier you would like to apply for. You can apply for 1 or 3, but understand that the max amount that you can apply for is $10,000. If your project is over that $10,000 mark, that's fine. You can still apply for the $10,000 and then incur the cost of what is over that amount. For example, if you would like to replace your roof and that's $24,000, you can still request $10,000 through this opportunity. And then that remaining $14,000 would be your business's responsibility. Understand that the work needs to be complete before you submit for reimbursement. So even though we're only financing or providing support for that $10,000, that the entire project would need to be complete before requesting reimbursement. So exterior facade, I'm going to click the drop down and we're going to say roof. And site enhancements, parking lot reconstruction, just for some patch and repairs, or you can do site security improvements for an alarm system, but the installation only. Please remember that there's a $5,000 site security improvement limit. So keep that in mind as you're getting quotes for those enhancements. Is there an active code enforcement case on the property? Yes or no? If you do not have that information, that's fine. Again, reach out to Project Development Solutions and we'll be able to get that information for you and help you complete that application. Next, this is where your application will start to be graded. So there's 30 points for project description, plan, and readiness. So there is 100 points available. This would be 30 of those 100 points where you explain what you would like to do, as well as the steps that you've taken to make your projects shovel ready, whether that's surveys, quotes, permitting. What have you done to make sure that your project is ready to go if selected? The next is community benefit, which is worth 25 points. How will this benefit the community at large in your area if you were to be selected for this opportunity? Next is your budget, which is also worth 25 points. Eligible activities, if you could please describe here, as well as the cost. Total grant amount requested. This would be a maximum of $10,000. Anticipated start and end date. The duration of the project cannot be any longer than 6 months, and it needs to be completed from within that 6-month time. So please keep that in mind. Your budget narrative is a description of how your budget that you proposed in the section above will be allocated. Total project cost, again, going back to that new roof example, your new roof is $24,000. You're requesting $10,000 from this grant. However, the project total is $24,000, so that remaining $14,000 will be incurred at the business. The last question is small business growth. How will this help you grow your business by having these improvements? We would also like to know how many employees you currently have and administrative capacity. This is 15 points. And as Kelly was saying earlier, what is your capacity? Because this is a reimbursable grant. And so understand once your project starts to completion, and then once you file for reimbursement, can you afford to have a reimbursement grant. Maybe we need to discuss other opportunities with the Small Business Administration, or look at some other ways to bolster your project. So understand that this is a reimbursable grant. You do not have to request the max 10,000. It can be $1,000 project that you want to replace the front door to your business, or any number in between. So don't let that number discourage you. Finally, step 4 is that your business owners, you sign that this information is accurate and correct. And for property tenants, we do need the authorization from the landlord, saying that they will allow the improvements to be made if selected for this award. So again, going over those possible points, there's 100 possible points and 30 for project readiness, 25 for community benefit, another 25 for project budget, 10 for small business growth, and then the last is administrative capacity. Just to recap the application, we do need your business information, your project readiness, your community benefits, as well as if there'll be any match funding or additional funds needed to complete the project that won't be included in the grant. Please make sure you include that required documentation. It includes your ID, copy of your business license, proof of address, which can be your utility bill, your lease agreement if you are a tenant, owner consent, again, of tenant, photos, contractor quote. Contractor quotes are preferred but not required, so please don't feel obligated to include that contractor quote or delay your submission. That can be gleaned after you are awarded. So it's one application per business with a maximum amount of a $10,000 request. Stressing that upcoming submission date of August 15th, please get in your applications early. If you can submit online or in person at Project Development Solutions, 1601 Newstein Road, Suite 222, Bakersfield, California, 93309, or email proposals at pdevsolutions.com. So some common things that we're noticing that you can avoid is missing attachments, submitting incomplete or vague project descriptions, the budget not matching the budget narrative. So the budget, the dollar amount that you're proposing is for a roof, but yet in the budget narrative, you're talking about your street signs. So making sure that those are in line with each other. Do not start the work before the agreement is executed, and submit your request for reimbursement with proof of payment. I know I went through that rather quickly. However, we do have an additional online workshop this Friday that I hope that everyone's able to join to find out more about this great opportunity. If you do have questions, please feel free to reach out to us. Our phone number is available there, as well as our email address. We also do in-person appointments. So if you need help writing that narrative, if you need help completing that application, I'm here to help you, and I would love to get the opportunity to meet you and learn more about your business and submit a complete application for the county to review. Thank you for your time, and Jasmine, I'll give it back over to you.
Yes, so it looks like Carlos asked a question in the chat. Will you share how to find if you're in an unincorporated area?
Yes, thank you, Carlos. So let me navigate to that portion.
This is a great question, Carlos. This is kind of the starting point to getting eligibility and seeing whether your business can apply for this opportunity. So we're happy to share that with you momentarily.
So going back to the Kern County Economic Development website, again, in initiatives, the Kern Biz Grant Program, if you scroll down to eligibility, there are two interactive links here. The first is the mapping tool, and the second is my address in an unincorporated area of Kern? If you select this link, it'll navigate you to this search page. You will type in your street address as well as the city. So I'm going to type in 3639 Elkin Street in Bakersfield. I'm going to submit this address, and based on the address, the jurisdiction, you are a resident of unincorporated Kern. So do not let that you are in Bakersfield determine your eligibility or not. There are Bakersfield addresses that are actually in the unincorporated area of Kern and not in the city limits. This is just one of many examples that I've come across and happy to share. If for whatever reason your address does not appear after you've searched for it in this queue, go ahead and reach out to us and we'll be happy to assist with that interactive map on identifying if you are in or within city limits or within an unincorporated area.
And then it looks like we got another question from Nancy Aguirre. What happens if we already did an indoor beautification approximately 1 month ago before we knew of this opportunity? Is there any other type of grants that could help our situation?
So 2 things. One, this grant opportunity is for anything that can be seen from the right of way. So it would need to be the facade, the exterior of the improvement. So interior improvements are ineligible. And secondly, no work can be done until the project has been selected by the county. And so unfortunately, that would not be eligible for this opportunity. However, I am sure Kelly and his team can plug you in with other opportunities that may be available to assist your business.
And Nancy, if there's other exterior improvements that maybe weren't a priority when you did the beautification of your indoor, apply still and try and use this opportunity to improve your business.
Okay, everybody jump in, man. Now's your time to ask those questions. You've got the experts here.
So
And-
I will just take, sorry, Kelly, go ahead. So there are 5 districts in the County of Kern. Each district has allotted $40,000 for their district. And so there'll be approximately those funds to be distributed throughout Kern County.
The only thing I would add to Nancy's question a little bit ago is if you just did an indoor beautification program or project, isn't there something that you can do outside as well? You know, from security, there's a lot of different uses. That's the great thing about this program. So many different uses that can actually be funded under this particular program. So there could be something out there that you hadn't thought of.
We have a few more questions trickling in. One from Claudia. I'm not sure if this information has been addressed. Do nonprofit organizations qualify?
Nonprofit organizations are currently ineligible to apply.
Jita Doshi, I am the property owner. Can I get the grant?
Property owners can submit applications. I would address that obviously with your tenants if it's something to do with their signage or things, but no, you as the property owner can also apply for this opportunity.
Alrighty, Kristen, we have no other questions. Thank you for providing that great overscope of the Kern Biz Façade Improvement Grant Program. We hope to see your applications. And then if you can just display the contact information one more time, we have some interest in that.
Going back to the nonprofit question, however, if the nonprofits have business relationships, please provide them with this information and let's support the businesses that support our nonprofits.
Claudia asked, will this Zoom meeting recording be available on YouTube?
But this webinar was recorded and will be on YouTube.
Yes, and I'm available for calls, emails, and on-site appointments. So please just reach out and we can have a one-on-one session and complete your application.
So one thing I encourage business owners to think about, because really there's a lot of ways you can really be creative. And if you've had, for example, one situation might be you've had, you know, landlord issues in the past. And maybe this gets you in front of your landlord and gets some of the things fixed that you want fixed. Maybe it's opens up a discussion where maybe there's a discussion to where you could acquire if you have an absentee owner. So maybe your owner lives a long ways away, and this is an opportunity to sit down and actually think about acquiring the property yourself. Those are only a couple of the examples, but there's a lot of different examples and a lot of ways that creatively this program can really help you.
We have another question coming in from Nancy. Can I apply for beautification of a historical building? That's an issue I've had because supposedly we can't do any changes to the facade.
Question. I would like to take down your contact information and research that more and be able to provide a better answer for you. I'm not sure. So I know that businesses are eligible, and as long as that your business isn't registered as a nonprofit or a special government agency, that those businesses are eligible.
Last chance, get your question in. Okay, I'm going to just take a couple of minutes and run through the chat real quick to see any other resources in there. There's a lot of greetings and salutations to begin with, and so we'll start with those and then jump into, you can see where you can sign up for SBDC services. There's the website for the economic development initiatives for the County of Kern. Jump in there. Also, there's a lot of questions that ended up in chat, and so I think we addressed all those questions. And that brings us, I guess, to the end of the webinar. So Jasmine, Kristen, thank you so much. Excited about the program, excited about all the things that it can do. Any last parting shots?
We appreciate all of you for attending today. If you're not eligible for this program, please refer this to somebody you know that has a business that's located in our unincorporated areas. Word of mouth is super important, and thank you guys for attending and having Kristen and I today. Thank you, Kelly.
Always
Yes,
a pleasure.
thank you.
Okay, well, that's going to wrap Webinar Wednesday number 353. We'll be back next week with Dr. Mark Evans on what Webinar Wednesday number 354. I might have a voice then. Who knows? Stranger things have happened. So big thanks to Jasmine and Kristen and the County of Kern's Kern Biz program. For our producer, Maureen Busher-Dang. Goodbye, everybody.